There's a lot. There's so much in one. There's so much. No, I didn't. I did not grow up normal. You know, my childhood was not very put together, like how a happy family looks like. You know, it's not you have the mom and you have the dad, and then you have the siblings, you know, all in one house and experiencing life together, experiencing moment to moment together. That's not how I experienced my childhood. No. My childhood was very messy and complex. So internally, it was messy and complex. And then I carried that with me into my adulthood, and it became even more complex. Excuse me. You see, I had to go and check out this taco truck, right? Like right by the house. I got food, and they were so easygoing. Like, they looked like a happy family, you know? And just being around them just made you feel lighthearted inside, and like they were just so easygoing is what I got from just being around them. They were this Hispanic family, and they gave me my food, and then I just thought that whole experience is the opposite of what my childhood looks like. And I don't know why that came up for me, but it came up, and I needed to express this because I think I'm in the process of unblocking right now because of that experience. Because you see, being around them, when they handed me my food, they talked to me, they asked me questions, and then I realized, wow, I don't feel like this around my family. You know? There was a lot of pressure, trauma. You know, it was a complete opposite of what my childhood looks like. And so I thought, you know, I just felt like expressing this. I just thought, wow, that whole experience didn't look like what my childhood looked like. And then it got me to think about a lot of things, questioning a lot, and I even wrote them down. And another thing also is like, I notice that when I'm around happy, easygoing family, it triggers me. There's something inside of me that gets triggered. So much that I kind of want to walk away and then just sit with myself and just reflect. Why do I feel this way, you know? And so that's exactly what I did when I walked away from them and I got home. And I started writing down my feelings. I started writing down everything that was coming up. I even pulled out some cards. And what I got from the cards is small tweaks takes you to higher peaks. Because you see, I feel like God is showing me something here that I need to know. That I haven't really known and seen for myself with my own eyes. With a clear conscience and a clean conscience, you know, God is putting something in my heart and He's showing me as He is guiding me and having me follow my intuition. I wrote that down. I wrote, He knows what you need. Excuse me, let me take that back. We must wait on the Lord. Wait on Him because the Lord knows what to do. He knows what you need and He knows He wants you to follow what feels right to you. Keep up with that is what I had written down. And then I wrote, when was the last time I was easygoing with people? When was the last time I actually felt really like relaxed and easygoing with no guard, just pure, real connection, no worries. And then I wrote, when was the last time I actually kept a smile on my face for long periods of time without worry and having to be vigilant around people? And I put around people because I'm usually by myself. I've become super hyper independent. There's some things about being a hyper independent that I'm very proud of, and then there's another side of me that I wish that I wasn't. Because you see, I didn't grow up thinking I'm going to be hyper independent one day. That yes, you know, we grow up and we become an adult and we are to have an independent life. Yeah, but there are some things that we need help on, right? There's some things that that connects us and bind us to others, you know, to keep that connection, and we need that connection. We do. And it's funny that I'm saying that because I was never one to say something like that, because I was always by myself. You know, I had this attitude, I used to have this attitude of, I don't need anybody, I can do this on my own, right? And now what I've come to know after years of reflecting and, you know, going in and seeing myself for who I am and seeing my life for what it is and how it has become to be, we need people. We need connection. We need community, right? And so how do you bring yourself to the right community? And so just being around that family, something just clicked inside of me and it unblocked me somehow, okay? And then I wrote, okay, when was the last time I actually kept a smile on my face for long periods of time without worry and having to be vigilant around people, without looking out for danger around me? And I'm going to tell you why I wrote that. Because growing up, I had to protect myself. I felt the need to always protect myself from somebody. Because this somebody didn't make me feel good. Perhaps this somebody didn't make me feel good about myself. And so that's why I wrote, without looking out for danger around me. Because when I was around that family, I didn't need to guard myself. They made me feel welcome. They made me feel welcome, and then I felt good about myself. It's not that their intention was to make me feel good about myself. It's just that I just felt good on my own just being around them. And that was the opposite of what I felt growing up. And something unblocked inside of me, and so I started like questioning everything. And so I believe right now, where are we? 10:10. Oh, wow. I believe right now I'm in the process of unblocking something about myself. And that's why I had written small tweaks takes you to higher peaks, because every unblock that we experience, it takes you higher to the next. And I believe this may be, this may not be for everybody. This is not a message for everybody. I can guarantee you that, because if you grew up in a big family, if you grew up in a big happy family and you guys were comfortable being around each other and you guys were all smiles and vibes and understanding one another, this is not a message for you. This is not a message for you. This is for the people who have been through abandonment and neglect. This is for our children, because we're all children. That's why I say children. This is for our children, God's children, who have been abandoned and neglected as a child. And it's amazing how in just in that one setting, in that one moment of just being around them, unblocked something inside of me. And it triggered me. And I don't know if I like that, Like, I think that's why I have this feeling of this unsettling sensation in my body, because it made me realize that I am triggered by happy, easygoing family. And I notice that it's mostly Hispanics that make me do this, that make me feel this way, because most Hispanic families are so loving and caring and nurturing. Like, they will welcome you, right? Like, when you step into their home, they will welcome you and they will make you feel like you're part of their family, right? Now, I say that but it may not be like that for every Hispanic family. And I come from a Filipino family. So as a Filipina, in my culture, there are happy Filipino families. I can guarantee you that, And I don't want to sound like I'm one talking bad about my culture. No, not at all. I used to, when I was bitter and in pain and resentment. I used to, because of what I had experienced as a kid, right? And so I suppose what I'm trying to say is, like, no matter your culture, not everybody's family look like that. Look happy and easygoing, right? No matter the culture, because you can be Hispanic and have a dysfunctional family and live in a home with a dysfunctional family, right? But I'm saying this is for the ones who've been abandoned, neglected. As we grow up, as we become an adult, we start to unblock ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you know where I'm going with this? If you have experienced great trauma and great abandonment issues and neglect, and I feel like I'm also speaking for our starseeds, I'm speaking for our chosens, our family are the ones who hate us the most, more than strangers. I seen this post the other day, and he said, chosen ones, why is it that our families hate us the most, or hate us more than strangers? And I guess you can answer that for yourself. I'm not going to answer it, but I'm experiencing that. I feel that post, when I read it, I felt that, because, man, like, I felt like my whole life, like, family members, certain family members, this bloodline, they've kept an eye on me, but not with good eye. Not with good eye, It was always very evil and like just gross. I can't even think about it because it's like it didn't make me feel right. And so that's why I had written without looking out for danger around me. And so hear me when I say like something was triggered inside of me just being around that family. Because they were so easygoing and just smiling, and making me feel welcome. And it triggered me. It triggered me so much that I had to sit down and write down my feelings and write questions and pull up cards. Because I don't think it's normal to be triggered by a happy, easygoing family. There's got to be something wrong with you, Kimber, that you get triggered by happy, easygoing family, right? So something is not clocking there. Something is not, put together in there, right? Why does Kimber get triggered by happy, easygoing family? Because she never got to experience that as a kid. I was the people pleaser. As an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, I had to be an adult. I felt like I was more of an adult, more than the adult around me. I had to work at 15 and a half years old. Although that's like the right time frame, but mentally, I knew I wasn't right. But everything just started to come to me when I was around them. Something inside of me was triggered. Why can't I interact the way I should? They're asking me questions, they're concerned, they're curious. Right? How old are you? What's your ethnicity? Stuff like that, right? But in just the way that they were asking me, I'm just like, wow, I wish my own family and my own bloodline asked me in this manner, concerned about me in this manner. Just stuff started coming up for me. And then that's when I realized, wow, I get triggered by happy families. And I truly, truly believe that. And I just wanted to share that. I don't know, maybe somebody needed to hear that today or something. But I felt like I needed to express that, and when there's something in my heart and I feel like I need to express something that I know is important, that I feel is important, I'm going to express it. Because I never used to be the one to express things. I never used to be the one to talk, period. I was silenced and I was silent. And now that I, am choosing to use my voice, maybe somebody will hear this and something will trigger inside of them. This is why we're here together. We uplift one another, right? Just like how they uplifted me and gave me food and welcomed me, like, wow. And then it took me back to my childhood, and it took me back to how I was treated as a child. And it did not look like that, So I just needed to share that because I feel like God is really showing me something important here. And so whoever needed to hear this today, I don't know who you are, but this was something that I'm also unblocking for myself. And like when I say like God is so great, he shows you the way, he shows you for him, for your, like he shows you himself, you know what I mean? He will show you. You have all these questions, and while you have all these questions, he's going to say, I will show you, child. I will show you. And when I say follow your intuition, this is the best time to follow your intuition. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace and blessings.